Going. So, welcome everyone to another webinar. Today we're joined by Victor Rosenberg. Thank you, Victor, for joining us.
My pleasure, absolute pleasure.
Beautiful, beautiful. So today, obviously, this is another production brought to you by Port Jackson Securities. My name is Lachlan Callaghan. I'm an advisor from Fortem. Today we'll be talking about Clearview. So, as we understand that solar is a major technology that's got to be developed on. And I think Victor's got a great company to talk about. So, Victor, if you wouldn't mind just telling us a little bit more about your company.
Okay, no problem. Firstly, I'd like to thank Port Jackson Securities and Fortem Wealth for availing the opportunity to present Clearview to your investor base.
Thank you. Thank you, Victor. Thank you.
Okay, so can everybody see the slides?
Yes, perfect.
Okay, so what I want to do is really introduce the company. So Clearview Technology is a smart building technology company. We are here to make the world a better place. Clearview operates what creates smart building materials. And of course, we focus on sustainability, energy efficiency, and positive environmental outcomes. Clearview has developed a technology that is energy saving and energy producing, highly insulating, reduces the carbon footprint, and is scalable. And that's very important.
Yep.
Clearview, we are part of the solution for achieving zero net energy, zero net carbon, reducing the carbon footprint, and for producing autonomous, clear, functional windows. Clearview glass can be used to achieve significant energy cost savings, prevent unwanted solar radiation, and we talk there about the UV and the infrared. We prevent them from entering into the room and converting that unwanted radiation into electricity. And I will go into that in more detail when I discuss how the technology works. We produce various sizes, but I think the most important thing that I'd like to show you is that we have the ability to upscale the technology. Most technologies have a problem in that they can all create and develop smaller sizes, but developing a bigger size is always very difficult. But we have created it. You can see the picture there showing it in the window. That's about 2.5 meters high by about 1.6 meters wide. We can actually do, I think, 45 different variations of that size. And most important is the window is clear and it's functional. And in fact, in my own opinion, that within the next probably 10 years, if you don't have a functional window, I don't think you'll sell ordinary glass anymore. And we only produce functional windows. We also involved in the smart facades, as you can see from there. Those are autonomous, smart, functional windows. They have the capability of bringing in air. If the CO2 content in a room gets too high, it will trigger that the air ventilation system will bring fresh air from the outside. They can also offer security. They have cameras. They also offer blinds, which you can control, of course, on your phone or on your computer. You can raise the blinds, close the blinds, various angles of the blinds, light control glass. In other words, you can actually control the amount of light you want to allow into a room. You can block it out totally, or you can allow 50% of the light to come through. Those in time will probably replace curtains. And of course, we can also do lighting of buildings. So you often see the bigger buildings in the cities, they like to light up at night. And all this is available now through our autonomous, smart, functional technology.
Oh, yeah.
I now want to describe to you, sorry, I'm going the wrong way.
No, it's okay.
I want
It's okay.
you now to discuss how the technology works. So I've shown you here a glass. You can see the graphics there, where you have the light that goes through the glass. We allow more than 70% of visible light through. You have the UV and the infrared, which you do not want to come into the room, are prevented. In the middle of the glass is an interlayer that has our nano and micro particles, which prevent the UV and infrared coming into the room. They convert the UV to the lower infrared range, and through various mechanisms of deflection, etc., we direct the light to the edge of the glass, where we have solar modules, where it converts the infrared into electricity. We have 85 patents already granted, and there are 40 applications throughout the world. I just want to show you now a video of how the technology works.
Clearview PV have developed technology that allows clear glass to convert sunlight into electricity. Glass building facades have the potential to become massive solar panels. The ultraviolet and infrared components of sunlight are filtered using our specially developed integrated panels, allowing 70% of the visible light to pass through. Ultraviolet is converted to infrared and deflected to PV cells, which harvest the energy around the panel edges. Currently, we can generate 30 watts peak per square metre. Each window shown here can generate 500 watt hours per day. 200 windows would power 400 25-watt lamps for 10 hours. To find out more, visit clearviewpv.com.
Okay,
So in your video there, Victor, we have one of the questions come through, and this has been one that a lot of my clients have asked about as well. It said there was 500 watts per hour that the windows could generate. Is that for all sizes, or it just depends on the size of the window? And how much would it, how many windows would be needed to generate for a room potentially?
Those are big windows. Those are probably 3.6 meters high by 1.8 meters wide.
Okay.
So they floor to ceiling windows, yes.
Okay. Yeah. Beautiful. Beautiful.
Lachlan, just did I actually talk about the part of the solution of what Clearview can achieve?
No, not really. You can dive into that if you wish.
Yes, if I may. Just coming back to the actual the product itself. Clearview is actually part of the solution for achieving zero net energy, zero net carbon, and reducing the carbon footprint, and also for creating autonomous, clear, functional windows. Clearview glass can be used, of course, now to achieve significant energy costs and savings, prevent the unwanted solar radiation from coming into the room, and converting this to electricity. I'm not quite sure if I mentioned that, so I just thought I'd say it again.
No, that's okay. Well, with a few of your recent announcements in particular, we have the greenhouse launch by Murdoch University. We understand that this world's first clear solar glass greenhouse. How was the launch received, and the inquiries from the agricultural sector following from that?
Well, the greenhouse was an absolute winner. It was an absolute great day for us. It is a world first. It's the world first clear glass solar greenhouse. We are very proud to be part of it. Of course, we had the government officials there. And the greenhouse is there to serve many purposes. One, to create reliable energy for sustainable food production. Because by the year 2050, 2/3 of the world's population will be urbanized. The other major thing, improved human health and environmental sustainability. you know, it reduces the reliance on pesticides, fungicides, and herbicides. And that means that we actually reduce the chemical residue that would appear on the plants. And that's very important. You know, those toxins, you think you wash the plants, the vegetables, but maybe it's not sufficient. So we want to get rid of using toxic material. We're expecting a higher crop yield and a better tasting product. Again, the leafy vegetables are no different to humans. They are susceptible to UV like us. We need sunscreen agents. The leafy vegetables, they actually produce a waxy layer to protect them from the UV. In our environment, they are protected from the UV, so they don't have to produce this waxy layer. So the energy they had to use to produce the waxy layer can now be redirected to growing bigger, better, and tasting produce. And that's very important as well.
Definitely. And so what's the study that the university's been doing with you at the moment?
Well, the studies at the universities are only going to start, and a lot of them are going to be to see determined growth. We're looking at reducing, of course, as I said, the use of pesticides and herbicides and fungicides. We want to get rid of them if possible. And the other one is to determine the amount of water that we reduce by having in a closed environment. And in fact, what we are creating there is a microclimate. So it's a climate that actually is better under control and should give a better end result and better products. And of course, use less energy, less power, less electricity. Yes.
Yeah, beautiful. And it was just one of the questions from one of the clients I have at the moment. And it was regarding the actual structure of the greenhouse. How many windows were involved in the making of that greenhouse?
I'd say probably around about 300 square meters.
Wow. And do you know how much that was meant to generate in power?
I think it's generating in the region of around 22 to 25 kilowatt hour.
Yeah.
Which is a fair amount, yes.
Yeah. Yes, definitely. Well, how do you see the company situated financially at the moment?
The company financially is, in fact, there's the greenhouse pictures now.
Yep.
The company financially is well funded. It's sitting at about 2.8 million in the bank right now. And we have approximately another 12 million that will be coming in through the conversion of options to fully paid shares. So we're fully funded. It'll allow us to do all our expansion programs that we want to do in the US and of course Europe. And I think we're in a very fortunate position, absolutely.
Definitely. And just so the audience knows, I do have a few questions coming through. The questions that we'll be asking will be at the end for Victor. So if you want to send them through now, I'll just make a quick log of them and make sure I get through as many as possible. So, but yeah, keep those questions coming through. I do have one from a few people at the moment. And I do see how I just don't want to keep interrupting Victor. So if you want to send them through, I'll read them out at the end. We can have a great conversation. But yeah, no, that's excellent about the financial system. At the moment, we understand that you did do a major listing in the US as well. How is the expansion into America going to benefit Clearview at this point in time?
Well, the expansion into the US, it's a major market for us, and that is number one. One of the other reasons why we listed on the OTC is that it gives our American investors the opportunity to invest in their time zone, and of course using American dollars, which makes it a lot more easier than trying to buy stock off the Australian market. We have a lot of plans in the US. We're doing some major development work there in the US, where we are developing, currently our product is a triple glaze product. We're looking at developing single glazing and double glazing products, which will complement the current a range of products that we have, and that's very important. They can be used as replacement windows in buildings, the single or a double glaze, or in new buildings. The triple glaze is basically for new buildings. And I think what's important there to know is that there are about 50,000 buildings in New York alone that are going to have to be upgraded over the next, well, starting by 2024 and have to be completed in 2030, because they all are going to be severely hit with a carbon tax. And it's, I think the figure is somewhere around about $264 per metric ton of carbon produced by the building. It's a lot, and they all produce a lot, so the taxes are going to be high. They have to upgrade their buildings to get to a better rating and to decrease their carbon footprint. We are one of their solutions. So window replacements and retrofits are going to become pretty big business in the US. Also, with Biden's latest speech, he mentioned that there are 4 million government buildings that are all going to have to be upgraded as well. So that's a big reason why we're focusing heavily on the US and will be, of course, going forward as well.
Definitely.
And talk about Europe as well.
So, yeah, I was going to mention that. As we know, that you have a new European CEO on the 1st of May. How has this impacted the company? And can you tell us a little bit more about what they bring to the table for Clearview?
Well, Dieter Moer has been CEO of a company called Ertex Solar in Germany for probably 20 years. He's worked there, been CEO for the last few years. He's well connected and very well experienced in BIPV. I think they've done something like 2,000 projects already. He will be a valuable asset to our business, especially with our growth plans in Europe. As I say, I'm sure he will make his connections up and get reconnected to his old people, and we're looking forward to getting some good results there. We're also looking at setting up an office and a company in Holland. One of the reasons Holland is because it's a tax incentive, it's friendly towards the tax position. And also Europe has a $50 billion green fund, but you can't get access to it unless you are registered in Europe. So we will be looking to tap into that green fund to help us to do many green projects, which I'm sure will happen in Europe.
Yeah, excellent. Excellent. Okay, that's really great news. Yeah, that's very good to hear. Well, we do have a few questions at the moment, Victor. There was a few sent via email. Yes. There was one that was sent to me personally, and it was from Graham. So Graham did ask about the company. He goes, does the company mainly rely on intellectual property of a single person for the long-term success, and how is that risk managed?
No, it doesn't depend on one person here. We've got a staff of about 10. We have lawyers, we have patent attorneys, we have scientists here, we have mechatronic engineers here, myself. There are a lot of people involved in that side of it. It's not dependent on one person.
Okay. And I also have another question here from Lindy. She asked, what's the cost of the technology? i.e., is it accessible by building constructors or on an economical basis?
Okay, so the technology is, of course, a little bit more than ordinary glass because this is a functional product. It does produce, has value, and I mean, it produces power and reduces carbon footprint. I'd probably say it's 20% more than a similar product of triple glazed glass.
Okay, that's okay. I have another question here from Robert. Robert asks, is all the manufacturing done in Australia or is it outsourced as well?
It's actually done in China. We've got our OEM manufacturer there. I did try to bring the manufacturing to Australia at huge cost. Unfortunately, it didn't quite work out. They couldn't make the product. The cost was just astronomical, and we had to actually send all the raw materials back to China to make the products. So at this point in time, the answer is no, but I really tried and would like to try again later.
Okay.
Because I believe it's an Australian development. It's developed in Perth, created in Perth, and you know we should be able to create jobs through it in Perth as well.
Definitely. We have another question here from Howard. Howard asks, how has the listing in the US affected the company at the moment? And is there any concern about the growing solar implication in the US? Is there other competitors in that sort of market?
You know, my answer to you is that market is just getting bigger and bigger, because that's one of the few ways that people are going to make their buildings more sustainable, make their buildings slightly greener, and definitely have to reduce the carbon footprint. And this is one way. You need to have these new functional glass, because you need windows. You'll always have windows. And to me, they are one of the main assets of a building, and the market's just going to grow and grow and grow. I mean, a lot of the big companies now have to comply, because there are fines involved. Like I mentioned, in New York City, they're paying $264 a metric ton. And that's just going to move to the cities. London by 2030 has to be zero carbon. So the people are going to be spending money in order to achieve that. Yes.
Okay. We also have another question, and we might take just this one and one other, and then we might end it there. But our other question we have is from Corey. What has been the impact on delivery times and supply chain constraints? I think he's referencing to COVID-19 and the supply chain from there.
Okay, so yes, it has been difficult last year. There's no doubt about it, but things now have leveled out, and we don't see a problem with supply, and deliveries are completed within the 4 months that we allow the manufacturer to complete the order. So no, we don't see that as a problem anymore now.
Yep. That's brilliant. Well, thank you very much. Well, that's all for the questions at the moment. Thank you very much, Victor. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for joining us today. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to email me. We will make a few calls just to catch up with people to see if they have any questions. If you do have a few questions, we'll pass that on to Victor himself and make sure that he does answer that and get back to you. But once again, thank you very much, Victor, for joining us today. I'm very excited to hear more about your company for the future and where it's going. But yeah, no, it looks very excellent. We're very excited to see more projects that involve the solar windows.
Well, I'd just like to say my final message to all the viewers, we are definitely in the right space, because we are part of the clean energy transition movement, which was discussed in New York by Biden, which is valued at US 25 trillion. And that's the space that we're in. So I think our timing couldn't be any better.
Yeah, beautiful. Well said. Well thank you very much, Victor. Thank you for your time.
Okay, my pleasure. And thank to all the viewers, and hopefully we can speak again.
Yeah, definitely will. Thank you very much. Catch you later.
Bye-bye.